He can't talk, he can't sell, and he can't spend his daddy's money wisely. What can the can man Tony Khan do? Well, apparently, working a match isn't one of those things. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Instead of talking about what Tony Khan can do, let's talk about what he can't do. And every time we see him, every time we look at his business decisions, it turns out that maybe, just maybe, he isn't that good at very many things. But Tony Khan is admitting to one thing that he might not be good at, and that is working a match. He has pretty much ruled out the potential of getting in the ring, having a match with the elite. He says the AEW is where the best wrestle, and when it comes to wrestling, he isn't the best. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to see this. A lot of people are scared that Tony Khan might get in the ring. But honestly, I mean, at this stage, can't we have a little bit of fun? Look how bad that segment was. People were watching it. People were talking about it. You know, it was entertaining to see Tony Khan sell a gut punch like he'd been headshotted and then rolling around and then taking the Meltzer driver before like laying out like with his full body stretched, arms above his head, fully stretched out like a dead body in the middle of the ring. It was kind of funny. Now, can this guy work? No. Can it be a good match? No. But could it be memorable? Could it be something that we look at and laugh our ass off at? Yes, potentially. So all these people saying that they don't want to see Tony Khan wrestle, I would much rather watch a Tony Khan match than watch like Pentagon Dark and all those little Mexican indie jobbers do flips and dives and super kicks. I'd rather see Tony Khan try and work a 10-minute match. I think it would be funny. I think it would be entertaining. But Tony Khan doesn't think it's going to happen. He was on the Cincy 360 show, whatever that is. Apparently it's some, I don't know, show, podcast, but he addressed the attack by the Elite and Jack Perry, and this is what he had to say in terms of getting in the ring, possibly, and getting revenge on the Elite. Tony Khan said, quote, AEW is where the best wrestle, and we mean that. In this case, I'm not the best person to pay those people back. There's a lot of things I'm good at behind the scenes, but somebody else is going to have to avenge what those guys did not only to me, but to Kenny Omega. I'm quite sure there are more capable wrestlers than I am that can inflict some of the punishment on the Young Bucks and Jack Perry and Okada, the Elite. End of quote. And then he went on to add, quote, after what happened to me last time, I don't think I'd be making a smart move trying that. End of quote. Now, I mean, I get it. I guess fair play to Tony Khan. Look, if he came out and he spoke about a match, people would be burying him. People would be saying, please don't, Tony. You're delusional for thinking that you could go in and wrestle. So at the same time, I've got to say, at least he knows he sucks. At least he knows that he shouldn't be in a ring. Even though I am kind of a little bit disappointed not to see it, I've got to at least give him credit here for acknowledging that he should not be in a wrestling ring. But he talks about wrestling and he talks about, you know, putting on a match. But, like, Vince McMahon wasn't a wrestler. It wasn't a Vince McMahon when he was feuding with Austin or when he feuded with Triple H because Triple H fucking date raped Steph or whatever and got married. When McMahon had an issue with somebody, he never claimed that he was going to go in and out wrestle them or he was going to go in and put on a classic match with them. It wasn't about that. It was about being a man. It was about stepping up and fighting for what you believe in, fighting for revenge, you know, going toe to toe with someone that you dislike or you hate or someone that has caused you problems or hurt your family. It was like that. So I don't know why we can't get something like that. It doesn't have to be a wrestling match. It can be a street fight. And I get it. Maybe Tony Khan, he's not McMahon. He'll never be McMahon. He's not built like McMahon. He doesn't talk like McMahon. He's not got values like McMahon. He's not a man, essentially, like McMahon. But you don't have to be a wrestler to wrestle a match, technically. You don't. You really don't, okay? You can be just a normal guy. And you can be in a wrestling ring if the storyline is right, you know. So we've seen over the years where you don't necessarily have wrestlers, but sometimes they can get pushed to like breaking point or whatever. I mean, Eric Bischoff wasn't a wrestler, he wrestled. McMahon wasn't a wrestler, he wrestled. Sometimes you can just step in a wrestling ring to have a match, but you don't have to be this great technical wrestler. And I get it, that probably doesn't work with Tony Khan because he's Tony Khan after all. But yeah, we'll see. Tony Khan says he's not going to be wrestling. It's probably a smart decision. So yeah, he's probably right to not do it. But it would be kind of funny after seeing him sell that stuff. It would be, yeah, it would be 100% funny to see this. But like, even when you think of Shane McMahon getting in the ring with Kane after Kane tombstone Linda, you know, I get it. Shane McMahon did wrestle for a bit, but Shane McMahon's not a wrestler. You know, Shane McMahon is a McMahon. He's the boss's son. But when Shane McMahon got in the ring with Kane, it was called for because this guy tombstoned his mother. So there is certain circumstances where a non-wrestler can get in the ring. But again, I just don't think Tony Khan is that kind of guy. And I mean, he's old now. He's not old, but it doesn't look like the guy's had any sort of physicality. It doesn't look like he's done any sort of like athletic stuff in his life. I think at his age, where he's probably never stepped inside a gym, I highly doubt that he could get in condition or get into shape. You know, you look at McMahon was jacked, McMahon was physical. You look at Shane, he was agile, he was athletic. Both Shane and Vince, despite not being wrestlers, they had different attributes that you could believe they could possibly hold their own. Like, as much as Vince McMahon got his ass whipped by Austin, McMahon was jacked. You know, as much as Shane McMahon was outmatched by most of his opponents, he was a daredevil. You know, he was willing to put his body on the line. You look at Tony Khan. Could anybody believe he could possibly hold his own, never mind win a fight? Probably not. Even against the elite, and they're all small guys. You know, they're all like vanilla midgets that weigh about 150 pounds that are like 6 foot, not 6 foot, like 5'6" or something like that, but still, nah, it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, guys, let me know down below, do you want to see Tony Khan wrestle? I don't want, I'd probably rather see his dad. I think I'd rather see his dad come out and try and get revenge. What about a tag team match? The Cans versus the Bucks. I mean, that could be interesting. What's mad is the fucking Cans would probably look more like legit wrestlers than the Bucks. So yeah, Tony Khan. Will we see the Khan man in the ring? I personally wouldn't count it out. He says no, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tony have a match. I think he wants to put it off. He wants to check it off the list, and we'll see, guys, what happens. Anyway, that's it. Been Fog Wrestling. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.